July 21st, 2021, according to a Reuters report, the United States on Tuesday carried out an airstrike on all Shabaab militants in Somalia, the first strike in the country since President Biden came into office. Al-Qaeda-linked insurgent group As Shabaab is seeking to topple the government and establish its own rule in Somalia based on its own strict interpretation of Islamic Sharia law. In a statement, the Pentagon said the strike took place near Galkayo, Somalia. While the United States has frequently carried out strikes in Somalia against As Shabaab, this was the first one since January 20th when Biden took office. Just a couple of months previously, the Biden administration actually wanted to, he promised to end the support for Yemen. Yet 41 progressive members of Congress wrote to Biden asking him to clarify what forms of support he had discontinued in which the Trump-era arms sales would be deemed relevant to offensive operations. The letter requested a response before March 25th, 6 years to the day after a coalition of countries led by Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates launched their intervention to defeat the Iranian-backed Houthis. But almost 2 weeks after the deadline, the administration still has not responded to the letter. A spokesman for the State Department referred to the White House, quote, months after enjoying an initial public relations victory by announcing an end to U.S. involvement in offensive Saudi actions in Yemen. Biden administration is yet to offer any specifics on the nature of previous or current American participation in the Saudi-led war, end quote. All this coming in the midst of what is probably the most important story yet not reported by the legacy media in regards to COVID-19 pandemic, which is the federal moratorium on the evictions of tenants who have fallen behind on rent since March of 2021. President Biden would have strongly supported a move to further extend the Centers for Disease and Prevention's moratorium, but yet didn't do so. The schedule is to expire on Saturday, the 31st, but that the option is no longer legally viable after a recent Supreme Court ruling. The administration said in a statement by Press Secretary Jen Psaki, state and local governments have struggled to distribute $47 billion in federal money aimed at helping tenants who can't pay rent because of the pandemic-triggered downturn, leaving many people at risk being forced out of their homes with the moratorium expires. Just $3 billion of the aid authorized by Congress in December and March have been delivered to landlords and tenants as of June 30th, the Treasury Department said in a report last week. About 8.2 million adults were behind on their rent or mortgage as of July 5th and have low confidence they could pay the rent on time next month. Here in New York City, a total of $1 billion is owed to rent to landlords. But yet, you could be proud that the federal government has given you a $1,600 one-time payment. Don't spend it all in 1 month. Meanwhile, billions and billions are spent to the Department of Defense. And as you could see, all of that was spent on dropping bombs in countries such as Pakistan, Yemen, and now Somalia. According to a political report, the Senate Armed Services Committee has voted to boost the budget top line of the National Defense Authorization Act by $25 billion during its closed-door markup, a bipartisan rebuke of President Biden's $715 billion blueprint. The vote drew support from Democrats at the Republican senators, telegraphed in recent weeks that they would seek to boost the overall budget. And the vote was announced Thursday by Senator Tim Kaine, the Democrat out of Virginia, a member of the Armed Services Committee, in a call with reporters. The report also goes on to say that the proposed increase is a bipartisan blow to Biden's spending plans, as well as to advocates who sought to curb historically high levels of defense spending. The increase could shake up budget talks significantly, with House Democrats also endorsing Biden's $715 billion level for the base Pentagon budget in their annual defense spending bill. While the base Pentagon budget request is for $715 billion, the entire proposal, which includes Department of Energy funding for nuclear activities, comes out to about $753 billion. The fiscal 2021 enacted budget was $741 billion total, with $704 billion for the Pentagon. Meanwhile, not a dollar will be spent to the people who actually need it, because what the Biden administration is just echoing from previous administrations, like the Trump, like the Obama, and like the Bush administrations. The only thing that matters here are their corporate lobbyists, especially those of the Department of Defense, because without war, there is no peace to these people. My message to you is to stop voting and to show your displeasure, protest en masse, and drop the political divide you have for each other. Because, as you could see, through the last 20 years, the federal government really doesn't give a lousy two shits about you.